Welcome back to Diet Rebellion. Today we are joined by Nicole Ferrier, who is an online health and fitness coach with over 9 years of experience helping both lifestyle and competition prep clients achieve their health and fitness goals. With a bachelor in exercise science and a certification as a personal trainer through ACE, Nicole has honed her expertise in areas such as food relationship, body recomposition, training, and reverse dieting. Nicole's coaching approach goes beyond the physical, focusing on creating a healthy mindset around food and exercise. She believes that fitness isn't just about achieving a certain physique, but rather about fostering a positive relationship with the body and the mind. Nicole is dedicated to supporting her clients and community by helping them build lasting, sustainable changes in their fitness and in their mindset. Today's episode is going to be another amazing one. You are going to love this, and I promise you, you're going to resonate with her story and so much more. I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Diet Rebellion, the podcast that's here to help you break free from the chains of dieting and finally take control of your health, strength, and confidence. I'm Joe Hoy, your host and the founder of Diet Detox. After transforming the lives of thousands of women over 40 who have been trapped in the endless diet cycle, I'm here to show you a new way. One that focuses on eating for your body's needs, restoring your metabolism, and rebuilding your strength for life. Get ready for real, no bullshit conversations, expert insights, and actionable strategies that empower you to live diet-free and thrive. It's time to stop restricting and start rebuilding. Join the rebellion. Your journey starts now. Nicole Ferrier, welcome to Diet Rebellion. Super excited to have you.
Thank you for having me on today.
You got it. So before we dive in, I would love to know, I think the audience would love to know, who is Nicole Ferrier and how did you kind of get sucked into this fitness world of not just caring about your own health, but ultimately caring about the health of thousands of others too?
Yeah, I feel like my story is a little bit unique because when I first started getting into fitness, I had like a YouTube channel. I did makeup, beauty, and then it transferred into more fitness content. And initially, it was rooted in a lot of like disordered behaviors, which I didn't even know were disordered. So I struggled with an eating disorder. I struggled with overexercising. And a lot of it was actually just misinformation that I thought was correct. And I like ran with it. My fitness content, if you go back to like 2014, 2013, super toxic, very bad. Don't follow that advice. But that's what I thought was normal. And then when I got older, I realized that my relationship with food was very unhealthy and that it needed to get better. And I didn't really know how. Thankfully, through educating myself, through really diving in deeper on why I was struggling with this, because eating disorders are so much deeper than just your diet, I was able to recover. And it took years, but it really inspired me when I was in my undergrad. I originally went to school for physical therapy. And then I realized I don't like this. And I just want to help people exercise better. I want people to understand nutrition more and like basically be the coach that I needed. And I feel like education really helped me connect the dots and heal over time. So throughout that, YouTube kind of transferred on over into Instagram just because YouTube took hours and hours and Instagram took like seconds
Yeah.
with editing. And I was able to, I felt like reach more people. And before I knew it, I mean, I had my first online client when I was like 19 or 20 years old in college. And I didn't even really know what online coaching was because that was 2015. But I've been able to build a great business. I've been doing this full time for going on, this will be year 7 or year 8, and it's been a fun ride.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And you and I actually have really similar stories, right? Like I used to do makeup and beauty on YouTube too. No, I'm kidding. That's not the similarity. So my story, and I think that we're probably not special. I think that this is probably more common across the board, but maybe not everybody wants to share it. The way that you and I and other coaches got a result in the beginning was generally fairly disordered, right? Whether it was
Mhm.
like disordered exercising, which really isn't talked about, or disordered eating in some
Mhm.
form, like there is massive restriction or massive mess up somewhere. And so then we figure out how to do it the right way. And we have this light bulb moment of like, oh, holy shit. Like, I don't want anybody to ever experience the things that I did. So I'm going to help them. And
Mhm.
again, like our paths being similar, I've been very open on other podcasts about the fact that in the beginning, I coached so freaking backwards. And like, if 31-year-old Joe could smack 24-year-old Joe, he would, because I hate the way that I did things and I learned. So it's awesome that you can come on here and be like, hey, I did it, I got results, but it wasn't right. And I think that's a sign of a great coach is like being transparent, being honest. And it shows that clearly you don't do that anymore. And so if that's the case, how do you like to coach now? Like, how do you get results for your clients now?
Yeah. Well, I'm heavily involved in the bodybuilding space. I love bodybuilding, but I feel like I am very rare in that space because I believe in having balance and a healthy relationship with your body and food, which is like very taboo in that space. A
Mhm.
lot of people think that they're going to get into bodybuilding and get healthy when a lot of people get sick. And I think a lot of that comes from not healing, again, the relationship with food and body, and then you get people who do a competition and then they have the worst body image in the world after. And I don't want that for anyone. I also don't want anyone to leave the sport and have this horrible relationship with food. I love bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was one of the first sports to teach me to take up space and to be strong. And I mean, I love the glamour of it too. I'm not going to lie, but it is a really hard sport. And initially with coaching, I actually just wanted to coach bodybuilders. And as the years went on, I actually realized that a lot of the people that I help, I'm working on basically fixing the old version of myself, the version that is really hard on themselves, perfectionistic, very restrictive, then binging, like ending that cycle, finding balance. Like that's the type of person I primarily work with. Or I'm working with the person who is wanting to lose weight in a healthy way, or that is wanting to put on muscle, but they're scared and they don't know how to do that. So I feel like there's many versions of myself that I've got to meet along the journey. And I feel like those are all the types of people that I work with now.
Yeah, my God, I love this. So like, and I don't know if the audience can tell, but for me, like my litmus test of a good coach is someone that number one can admit their faults, number two shows that they're constantly growing and evolving. And when I hear you say, I feel like I just continue to meet other old versions of myself, it means that you're just shedding your skin over and over and like continuing to get better, which is super cool. I'm curious, how do you help the old version of you, right? And when I say that, I mean the perfectionist, the all or nothing mindset, whatever it was with you, how do you help that now?
It requires honestly a lot of compassion and empathy. And I think a lot of coaches go about coaching through protocols and forget the human aspect. So, a lot of the times when I'm working with a client who, let's say, is struggling with their relationship with food, let's say they're struggling with overeating, I will dive in deeper and ask questions. When are we overeating? What are you feeling? What time of day is it? Like, what types of foods are you gravitating towards? And what does the best version of yourself look like? Because nobody wants to feel stuck. If your client is struggling with consistency or feeling stuck, they don't want to be there. They've hired you for a reason. And it's about meeting them where they're at. And so many times, like I find coaches, we have really high expectations that can sometimes be unrealistic. And I have to like take that back and meet them where they're at. So let's say they're like overeating 5 times a week, right? If we can get that down to 4 times a week, that's a step in the right direction, and we're going to celebrate that. And so it's about celebrating the wins and learning from the setbacks and not dwelling on the setbacks or punishing the client for the setbacks. And it really upsets me when people are nervous to work with a coach because they think if I work for a coach, I need to be performative and be perfect. And that's like not what I want when people work with me.
I love it. Yeah, and so you're very interested in small changes over time that are just compounding on themselves and eventually will make massive shifts in life. And
Yeah.
it also just sounds like changes in life and behavior, not like just protein and calories, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's not so I'm 100% transparent. I am not a therapist, but a lot of this whole fitness thing is behaviors and habits and your mindset. I think anybody could follow a macro protocol for an extended period of time, but there's going to come a point where you have different challenges come up and you have to learn how to pivot and work through that. And I've had clients say, like, I'm like a life coach. Again, I wouldn't say I'm a life coach, but I think I just try to cover more aspects of their life and habits versus just, did you hit your protein? Like, of course, I care if you hit your protein, but I also care if you struggle to hit your protein. Why is that? Not a, oh, you need to do better. Like, that doesn't help.
Hey, it's your host, Joe Hoy. Quick break from the show because I want to share something I think you're going to love. If you've been feeling stuck with your weight loss and want a clear, personalized path forward, I made something exactly for that. It's my free Fix Your Fat Loss quiz. This quick quiz is going to help you pinpoint exactly what state your body is in right now. But even better, it reveals the most effective next steps for your unique situation. No more guesswork and no more one size fits all advice. It's time to start losing weight in a way that finally feels doable. So head over to quiz.hoyfit.com or click the very first link inside the show notes to take your free Fix Your Fat Loss quiz today and get going with real, lasting results instantly. Now, let's get back to the show. Yeah, no, I love it. And I see so many parallels between, I guess, somebody's weight loss journey and just an enjoyable, high quality life, right? Because if you are somebody that can adapt and gain the mindset of losing weight and keeping it off for life, like just like you said, you have clearly changed your thoughts, behaviors, your actions to
Mhm.
fit with a better version of yourself. And so if you can do that in weight loss, well, now you probably don't even have to try, but naturally that's going to start to bleed into other areas of your life.
Yeah. There's like, it's really cool whenever I see my clients, like their confidence building, or they can even acknowledge, like, oh, I was having a bad body image day today, but I was still able to show up to the gym regardless. Or I had a vacation, and I ate foods that I enjoyed, but I didn't eat to a level where I felt uncomfortable, or I didn't restrict because I thought I was going to feel guilty. Like, those are all things that really make me happy to hear because it's a quality of life thing. Like, of course, it's great if someone loses weight or is building muscle, but it's about peace of mind and quality of life. Like, that's priceless, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that side of things, right? So not just the life coaching, but I've heard you say or seen you say rather on your social media, you're there for a lot of emotional support too. Why
Mhm.
is that so important?
I like to just create a space that I wish I had to talk about food and fitness because I thought it was very hush hush. I thought like there were times too where when my family knew I was struggling with food, I remember them being like, "Well, why can't you just eat normal?" I'm like, "That's literally the whole problem. Like, I don't know how to do that."
Right.
But I felt like there's a lot of like shame and judgment. I think with the emotion side of things, I do work with primarily women. It feels nice for them to really express themselves and to feel like, hey, like nothing's going to throw me off. Like any struggle you have, like been there, done that. Like it's okay. We're going to be able to work through it. And I think that helps versus, again, feeling like the client has all these like walls up. And I'm sure you've worked with people like that where it's like really hard to connect with them because they won't like be vulnerable.
Absolutely. Yeah. Until they are, and they realize that once they're vulnerable, nothing bad happens, and they get this big like breath of relief
Yeah.
rather, and then like the floodgates open and you have all their trust and then everything changes.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes a really long time as a coach to get there. I'll never forget when I worked with a client for like 2 years and I was like, wow, she has weight loss resistance or something. Like she was definitely having pushback. And then she opened up to me that she drinks a lot of alcohol, a lot of alcohol. And she decided that she was going to stop drinking and pursue being sober. And I had no idea. And part of me was like, dang, Nicole, like you didn't ask the right questions. You should have asked that. But the problem is she also needed to open up too. And once she did, she lost the weight, she lost the inflammation, she felt so much better. But like that trust was built. It just takes a long time for some people.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no right or wrong time or right or wrong way to do it. Like people are just different. I'm curious coming from you, right? So with the past of disordered eating, probably with the past of like body dysmorphic tendencies, how do you define a healthy relationship with food?
Yeah. I will say everyone hears the word balance, and that looks different for each and every single person. I feel like some people might even look at my lifestyle and be like, that's not balance. So it's a very subjective phrase. For me, what a balanced and healthy relationship with food looks like is having a baseline of education, being informed with my eating, but not being anxious, obsessive, and perfectionistic with my eating. And a lot of people might think, well, but you're in bodybuilding. So how do you do that? Even in bodybuilding, I am following macros. I am having a very balanced relationship with food. I set boundaries in prep. There's certain levels that I will not go lower to. And I also have an exit strategy to where I'm not afraid to gain weight after, and a lot of people
Mhm.
are. So I think it's also accepting your body when it's healthy. If you are imbalanced or have a bad relationship with your body, it can look like always chasing the extremes, and that's very unhealthy. You have to learn how to respect where your body wants to be naturally. And that's not to say you can't have physique based goals, but a lot of people have very extreme or unrealistic physique based goals and they think that they can stay there. And so I knew that I really healed when I was like, I'm fine not being super shredded all the time, and I'm fine not being X amount of pounds all the time. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing to overcome, right? And so I haven't ever had like a massive eating disorder, probably just orthorexia, but I've certainly been body dysmorphic since being a teenager. And I don't think it's something that ever goes away. I think it's something you simply learn to cope with and live with better. And so, like
Mhm.
you said, you learn to recognize those bad body image days, but ultimately becoming okay with the fact that perfection simply doesn't exist is a huge, huge step in the right direction. How do you do that? Because now we understand what that looks like, but I think it's more important to know how we start getting there. Is there any tips you can give us for people across the board?
Yeah, this is an analogy I've used with clients before, and that is like the car analogy. So if you have like body dysmorphia, let's say, and this could also fit for like anxiety. If you're in this car and that voice is really loud and strong and trying to dictate your day and telling you, all these horrible things, it's like in the passenger seat, right? It's really strong. You can acknowledge, like, hey, I hear you. I'm having a bad body image day today. Cool. I think you should acknowledge those feelings. And then you need to work on telling it to go to the back of the car. I feel like that voice is always going to be there, but you can say, I hear you. I'm going to dismiss you. I'm the one driving. You're not driving. You're trying to, like, what's that called? Backseat driving.
Backseat
And
drive, yeah.
you need to put it in the trunk of the car and then grab the wheel and call the shots for the day. Our emotions are guides, but they don't control us. So, like bad body image, that's just an emotion. And when I learned that, that was so empowering because I kept thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Right. But it's just like stress. It's just like being mad. It's just like being happy. These are all temporary things that like ebb and flow. Just like if you had a bad day, like tomorrow could be the best day. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think for people like you and I, people that have overcome that and noticed that, hey, this emotion's here. I don't need to let it control me. That is useful. I think for
Mhm.
some people, they haven't yet gotten to that point, and so their emotions do still control them, right? If they're angry, they're going to sit in that anger. If they're sad, the same thing's true. What did you find that worked for you to start telling yourself and believing and acting on the fact that I don't need to let these things control me?
Yeah. I will say, I think some of it comes with just maturing in your body. It's way harder to have confidence when you're a teenager or in your young 20s and you're constantly comparing to other people or seeking like outside validation. When I really realized that like nobody notices and honestly nobody cares, it's really empowering. And in order, just like resistance training, in order to get stronger at something, you need more reps with
Mhm.
it. So if you have like a bad body image day, or let's say you fell off your plan with your nutrition, it's about just trying again. Maybe you try to dismiss it. Maybe you try to still go to the gym, even though you feel insecure and you want to cover up. Just try. And if you go to the gym and you're like, I'm out 10 minutes in, like I'm uncomfortable, I'm out, like at least you tried and you're going to build that resistance. And the more you can do that, you get stronger. And then it kind of comes to the point where probably like you and me, it's automatic, where it's like boom, 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 I can move on. But it's going to take a really long time to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree with that. But at the same time, so for me, I've primarily only worked with women, generally 40 and older. And so I'll find that they are still exhibiting a lot of the things that we're talking about now. And
Mhm.
so I would have to agree that it's reps, right? Like it's reps of getting outside your comfort zone and learning that you're going to survive. Because I mean, the ladies I work with, they're super mature. Like they got their shit together. They raised some pretty amazing kids and they didn't burn the house down. Like they got it together. But I think that stepping into that zone of discomfort over and over and over again plays a huge role in realizing that you can do hard things and survive. You have control over more than you might think. Do you agree with
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, I think even just like flipping the script on yourself too, like sometimes on your worst days, you need to have gratitude. And I know a lot of people are like rolling their eyes, probably thinking, okay, I'm not going to be super happy, go lucky, like when I feel like crap. But like you have to have gratitude. Or I've even told clients, like when you have a bad body image day, like go compliment someone else, go make someone else feel good. If you can't compliment yourself, like go compliment someone else. And that can make someone else smile and it will make you smile and you will feel good because we're really negative to ourselves and very hypercritical of ourselves, especially older women, where a lot of women have been taught that like their value is in their looks and their body, and older women, their youth. And so they can have this like identity crisis when they're aging and be really hard on themselves. And they need to realize like their worth is so much more than their body. And how you find that worth is extending it outside of your physical body. So when you look in the mirror, it's not just your body, that's who you are. It's how you impact others, how you make others feel. You know, when we all die, not to be morbid, like on your gravestone, it's not going to be like, oh, they were super shredded and weighed X amount of pounds. Like nobody's going to recall that. They're going to recall what you did and how you made others feel. And I think that
Yeah.
that can help like on those really hard days. And again, it's not easy. You're especially when you are older because you're having 10, 20, 30 years of being stuck in this negative mindset. But what's really cool about like your brain is it can learn new pathways and it can, move in a more positive direction, but it takes that uncomfortable work and again the repetitions.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. I am 100% on board with that. I know you work with women primarily, but what age group?
It ranges typically early 30s to 40s, but like 30s to 40s would be like most of my clientele.
And do most of them compete or are a lot of them just lifestyle based?
It's like 70-30. So 70% are lifestyle, 30% either want to compete or are competitors.
Okay. What have you found that you like more after kind of diving into both? Because I know you thought you wanted the competitive side, but I know
Mhm.
for me, I thought I wanted something and learned that that wasn't true. So I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I think quite honestly, working with bodybuilders is very easy because they can be very robotic.
Yeah.
So they are very structured, they're very consistent. That's not anything you have to worry about. A lot of bodybuilding, the challenges that I face is more so pertaining to just having them understand like the patience involved, not comparing to others on stage and going about things in a healthier way versus like the old school bodybuilder way, which is pretty easy because a lot of my prep clients, they have to work with me before they want to do a prep so they can like get their body primed and ready. Lifestyle clients, I would actually say it's more challenging because you're working with someone who isn't super passionate about fitness, or if they are, again, like that old version of myself, they're obsessive with it. They're going about it the wrong way. So they're driven for the wrong reasons. And so trying to work on that can be significantly harder.
Yeah. Both have pros and cons, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they both have pros and cons. I wouldn't say like I have a preference over one over the other because they both fulfill me in different ways. Like when my clients are on stage, like I'm shaking, I have adrenaline, like I'm hyped, I'm ready. And then if I have a client who like I literally just had a client last week have a baby and like create routine and structure, I'm like, yes, like I'm so proud of you. So it's like different stages of life, different goals, but like they still really all fulfill me as a coach.
It is. Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier, if you can't compliment yourself, you're going to say something nice for someone else or do something nice for someone else. And that's a good feeling. And the same thing's true, which is why I think people like you and I get hooked on coaching. Like when we see a client that we've invested our thought, our time, our attention, our energy in, get what they're after, and like celebrate it, it is super fulfilling for us to see too.
Yeah, and I'm super grateful because a lot of my clients work with me for a very long time. I mean, I even have a client on my roster who's been with me for 7 years, and I have many clients who work with me for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So, like the types of bonds that you create when you're working with someone for years on end is like really special versus like just 6 weeks or 12 weeks. Like that, those types of relationships like are really important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes way more than a coach client relationship at that point.
Yeah, like I literally had like clients at my wedding, so.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, cool. I know you have your own podcast. So oftentimes podcasters listen to other podcasters. So where can everybody go to find you on your podcast?
Yeah, my podcast is called Beyond the Bikini Radio. I do talk a lot about bodybuilding and competing there, but I also interview other coaches. So there's lots of like basics when it comes to like tracking, lifestyle, fitness. I try to bring on guests that have different opinions and takes just to get different viewpoints too. And it's on a multitude of different platforms.
Awesome. We will link that inside the show notes. Beyond the Bikini Radio, right?
Mhm.
Perfect. And where can people go to spend more time with you anywhere else?
Yeah, where I'm at mostly is at Nicole Ferrier Fitness on Instagram. I don't know if TikTok will be around in the future, but I am on TikTok at Nicole Ferrier Fitness as well. And I'm sure that you'll include that down below too.
Absolutely. Well, Nicole, thanks so much. I love how you do things. I love your journey, and it's super clear to me that you're a coach doing things the right way. So thanks for fighting the good fight and not doing diets.
Thank you again.